So what did you think about Sweet Revenge?
I thought it was very good.
Did you think that it looked professional?
Absolutely. Every part of it looked...
In what ways? I mean, what about the editing? Did you think that kind of added to it, the sort of different shots?
I'm not an expert on it, but the way that there was continuity and flow, that you could... it's just how the images were kind of merged together, and the transition was very, very smooth. It flowed very nicely.
Nice. And did you think that the soundtrack kind of added to tension? Do you think that it would have had as much tension without it?
No, I think the sound, always does with the film lend itself, particularly in things like Hitchcock films. You notice that sound does play a huge amount. The other thing as well, it wasn't just the sound which was the music, it was also the sound when they were running through the woods and the leaves.
Yeah.
And also when you couldn't see the victim, you could hear the screams, so you knew what was going on. So I think the sound...
Was that effective, not showing what was actually going on, but sort of implying it?
No, it did imply it, but obviously it would have been a bit too shocking. If it's going to go up to 15, that's suitable. If it had been a bit more explicit, then obviously it would be a much higher grading.
It's in the style of film noir, which is sort of dark cinema or whatever, like Hitchcock, some of Hitchcock's stuff. Did you see the sort of connotations of it in there?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I did think of Hitchcock, because Hitchcock does use music in the shower scene in Psycho, and you don't actually see Vivian get it, but you can tell by what's going on with the sound and some of the images, because you did use some images where her hand was being covered, but you didn't see absolutely everything.
Did you find that the costumes suited the characters that they played?
Yes and no. It took me a while. I did see the... it was obvious when he was in the phone box and she was waiting for a call that he was calling her up, but it took me a while to make the connection that you saw at the beginning, that she had been dressed differently when the attack had taken place. But it was only when you saw the flashback, when she went back into the woods, that you realised that the person that was dressed far more seductively was actually the person that was dressed in the scarf and the mittens and everything else. It took a while for that connection to be made, that it was actually her, because she looked so different.
So would you say that would be an improvement to act on, sort of, make it a bit more clearer that she was...
Not necessarily, because she was going there for a particular purpose, because in the first clip he was masked, and I don't think, my interpretation was that when that happened and she was taken by surprise, she didn't know her attacker, but I think she worked out who it was, and therefore she was luring him into his attack, and therefore since she was then going to be the temptress, she had to change her attire. So no, I think that bit actually worked, because the roles changed. He was dressed in a mask as the attacker, and they switched characters, so he didn't actually...
Yeah, he became the victim.
He became the victim. And that was done by subtle use of change of costume.
So do you think that there could have been any improvements?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, thank you.
It was very, very well done. Thank you very much.